Greetings and welcome to your Oracle message for the day. I am Kat Morgan and I welcome you to this video, to this channel, and to this space. This is a place where you're going to be hearing nothing but encouragement, support, love from the collective, from me, from the energy of these cards. They're not always easy messages. They are always truthful though, and they're always the right time. So this is a collective reading and it is timeless. So whenever you come across this video, however, and whenever you find it, it is the right time for you to be getting this message. For new and returning friends, both are very much appreciated and welcome. You guys are the reason why this channel is here. So if you feel so inclined to like and or subscribe to the video and channel, that would be great. There's no money that comes to me for this. This is never going to be a monetized channel, but it is a way for the YouTube algorithm for other people to find this video and find this channel, just like you did. So I thank you so much for being here. We've been going through the Oracle of Light and Dreams from Scot Howden. Beautiful cards with beautiful illustrations and messages. And today's card is card number 13, Dragon Keeper. And again, I'm just wowed by the image itself. I see her wearing a crown of daisies. She's got this very small little youth dragon that she's kind of holding on to. She looks very protective, doesn't she? At least to me she does. Very strong, very guarding. She's very, very protective. Protective, that's the word that I want. And I'm just getting a very strong sense of air also with the card as well. We'll be going through the book and looking at the actual reading, and it always has a quote at the end as well that I love from some famous person written work. So those are always fun as well. But I'm getting a very strong sense. This, although the image looks very nurturing and protective, all of that kind of energy, I'm getting a very strong energy. I'm not getting a very calm energy. I'm getting a very strong, it's like if I could come up with a caption for this image, I would say it's like, don't touch this. Really, you know, that's what I'm getting from this, is very just strong, protective, wanting to make sure that you are guarding this very special treasure that's been entrusted to you. So whatever it is that you are looking at, that you want to nurture, that you want to see grow and develop, and that has a completely different, separate life than you do, but you are connected in this moment. We are all connected always. There's a quantum entanglement that happens with everything in existence, always, across all times, across all universes. But in this instance, I'm really getting a strong sense of nurturing things that are a little maybe weaker, a little less able to defend themselves. So children in particular, we nurture and protect our children. We also do the same thing for our elders. We nurture and protect them as well. There is wisdom and knowledge that comes from both the young and the old. The young have a more strong connection with the divine, less filters, more open, expansive connection with that. And you know what they say, out of the mouths of babes, right? So there's always truth in these aphorisms, and it is true, very true in this case. The same is also true for the wisdom of our elders. We should be respecting their knowledge, their life experience. They've learned things that if we got the information without having to go through the experience, we would be much better off. So protecting and nurturing that knowledge, those people as well. And the same kind of thing for nurturing small or young projects, things that are going to grow and develop for a nurturing environment for the collective in some kind of future time. You may be working on a project with work. You may be working on a project at home that's going to benefit you and everybody else that's in your life personally. And that makes it good for the collective, because whatever is good for you, whatever makes you stronger and healthier, whatever makes you feel more secure in your power, in your truth, which comes from deep shadow work, comes from finding that place of self-love and self-acceptance where you know who you are, you appreciate who you are. So this can also be nurturing for yourself personally as well. Those talents, those inspirations that are coming to you and through you from the divine. So that's what I'm getting for the energy for the card itself. Feel free to leave in the comments if you got something special for the image itself, or for some of the things that are in the image, the daisy crown, the dragon being held and protected. But let's take a look in the book and find out what the actual reading is for our card today. Card number 13, Dragon Keeper. And I do also want to just make a brief comment on the number 13. It is not an unlucky number. 13 has always been a number of power. It's always been a number of wisdom. It's been used by many, many lifetimes of ancestors prior to the big established religions and churches and that kind of thing. And unfortunately, a lot of times humans will take something that is powerful and turn it into a weapon against others to try to benefit themselves. And that's what's really happened with the number 13 historically. If you go to other cultures outside of our Western traditional, Christian, Judeo-Christian philosophies, the number 13 has no negative connotation. It has no negative significance. If you think about it, you had 12 disciples plus Jesus, right? He was number 13. So there you go. There's power in that number. There's power in this card. All right, now that we've covered, I think, everything that I can think of, she does have wings too. So I have a feeling maybe she's got part dragon in her. Sometimes I feel like I've got part dragon in me too. All right, number 13, Dragon Keeper, be nurturing. Our keywords are protect, enable, nourish, and support. From the day that the orphaned hatchling broke free from its shell, it has been raised by the Dragon Keeper. In these vulnerable early years of its life, the Keeper has committed to teaching, feeding, and protecting the dragon. It is the rarest of creatures, and the dedication, care, and love that she provides is essential to its survival. If not for the Keeper's stewardship, the sight of graceful colossal dragons soaring high over hills and the roar of their thunderous calling would become things of the past. The people that we become are a product of nature, our genetic makeup, and nurture, influences from our environment and how we are raised. When we choose to nurture a relationship, whether it is with a child, parent, friend, co-worker, or loved one, we foster basic needs such as food and safety, warmth, intimacy, and pleasure. When we give this attention, we are providing the fundamental foundations for growth. And our quote is from Nanette de Vallée. You cannot create genius. All you can do is nurture it. Wow. Very, very, very cool reading. Yes, all I want to really add to that is that I've become more aware very recently that all relationships, regardless of what kind they are, require some kind of maintenance. You cannot just, you have a baby, it grows up, you've helped raise it, and the child becomes an adult and moves out and gets married and all of that stuff. You think through that whole process that because this is family, there's nothing you have to do. You can just be sloppy with how you're speaking to these people, how you are treating them, because they're family. They're always going to be there. Not true. Not true. There are circumstances sometimes that may separate you from a family member. There may be situations that come up where somebody has to move far away, somebody dies, something happens, and the relationship is actually physically distanced. Does not make any difference. Sometimes it can be circumstances. Sometimes you just, there's something happens. For my example, my parents, my mother died when I was quite young, and both my father and my mother had issues, we'll just say. And growing up wasn't an easy place for me or my brother when we were little. So those kinds of things, they can destroy relationships. So don't assume just because you've got a job, you've got a relationship with your boss, you've got a relationship with your coworkers, you don't have to do anything except show up and do your job. Not true. You need to treat everybody with respect. You need to treat everybody with care and kindness, with thoughtfulness and consideration. These are basic things that you have to do even with something, a relationship as fleeting as motorists on the highway or a, cashier at the grocery store. Those are relationships too. They are much shorter, obviously, and more surface level than many of our relationships that we would think of, but they all require some consideration, respect, thoughtfulness, concern. All of that is crucial, or you're going to have a very rocky life. But the more care and consideration you show others and yourself, and it has to start with yourself. So I would look at this again and I would see nurturing that inner dragon, that inner strength, that inner potential, that inner power, allowing yourself to grow into that fullness of who you really are. Doing that shadow work, getting that all that straightened out so that you can encompass everything that is you and blossom into your full potential. Same is true for everybody else. You will get more better work done if you are in a better relationship with your coworkers and your boss, right? And they're going to get better work done as well. The company as a whole will prosper more. And what is our job? What are we required to do as the collective, as the folks that are listening to this reading, going about our lives? What is our job? What are we being called to do? We're called to be examples, right? We're called to show other people how to do it right. How do you do this right? How do you have relationships that work? How do you have growth and opportunity in all areas of your life? It's by coming from that place of self-love and self-acceptance to begin with, showing other people how to do it, treating yourself with consideration and kindness and respect, having that self-respect, that self-consideration, and using those tools for other people, showing them concern, showing them consideration, showing them respect. If somebody treats you badly, you're not required to continue being nice to them. You can choose at that time, if this is a historic thing and somebody is just not a good person for you to be in a relationship of one way or another, you're not required to. You're still required if it's like a family thing or a job, something like that, where you don't really have a choice. You live in the same house or you work in the same office, something like that, some kind of situation where you don't have the option of ending a relationship with somebody. You can still treat them with respect, even if they don't respect you. You can still treat them with consideration, even if they don't show you consideration. I'll tell you a short story, true story. This has happened to me personally throughout my life. It started when I was a teenager. I learned from that difficult upbringing that I didn't want to treat other people the way that I had been treated by my parents and the way that I'd seen them treat each other. I knew I wanted to do it differently. So I was bullied at school. I still treated my bullies with respect. I didn't hang out with them, obviously. I didn't go looking for their company. I avoided them whenever I could. But whenever they came after me and they were calling me names, did I call them names back? No. I've been punched, I've been hit, I've been, just about everything you can imagine that a bully would do. Groups of people ganging up on you, all of that stuff. I never stopped treating people as human beings. And funny enough, years later, I would come across this person and they would say, you know what? I am so sorry for what happened. You never did anything bad to me, and I treated you horribly. And I'm really sorry that happened. I've had more than once where somebody years later came back into my life simply to apologize to me for what they did. That would never have happened if I had tried to treat them like they were treating me. So just be aware of that. You're not required to be nice to people if they're not being nice to you. Try to separate yourself from people that are on a course of destruction. Okay? You don't want to be involved in that. But send them love. Send them blessings. Still treat them with respect. You don't have to go out of your way to be a doormat to them. You want to maintain your boundaries. That's where self-love comes in, and self-acceptance, where you become more of who you are and stronger in your own identity. When you have that locked in, people can treat you like poop, and it doesn't affect you personally because you are stronger than that. And the only way you get there is by practicing that self-love, that self-nurturing. So this reading went a little bit long. No apologies for that. This is a very strong card, a very strong energy. Consider your relationships. And if there are some that maybe you've been being lazy with, not paying attention to, not nurturing and supporting, maybe give a little more love, maybe give a little more support, maybe reach out to somebody that you haven't heard from in a while. Relationships take care. They require consideration and nurturing. So that's our reading for the day. Whatever your relationships are, give them a little bit of a closer review today. Is there something that maybe you need to reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a while? Go ahead and do that now. Okay? I love you. Have the most amazing day. You are awesome. If no one has told you that recently, you can't say that anymore because I just said it to you. You are awesome. You are going to have an awesome day. Go make it so. I love you. Namaste and ciao for now.